Hello and welcome to this Summary Schedules Masterclass. My name is Nick Armitt and I am one of the trainers here at the NBS. Many of you might have already met me or been on training sessions with me. Just a little bit of housekeeping. The webinar is going to last just over 30 minutes. Your microphones are all muted. If you do have any questions, then please use the question box on your screen and we will follow up with those after the session for you. The agenda for today is we're going to have an overview of the feature. We're going to show you where you find it within the platform. We'll then actually look at how you set up a summary schedule, how you add content to it. And then we'll have a look at some examples of how you can use summary schedules and some of the other features within Chorus that you can use alongside them. Now, before we get started, just to let you all know, summary schedules is a NBS Chorus Pro feature. Okay, so you can only use the feature with NBS Chorus Pro or above. Okay, let's get into NBS Chorus then. So here we are in Chorus. You can see I've got several projects set up on my projects page. Now, summary schedules sits in the specification, so let's jump into one of these projects. I'm now in the contents page for the project, and I've got 4 specs that are showing here. We're going to go into Spring House to start with. When we click into Spring House, we see the contents page of the spec, and you can see in this case, I've just got systems added in here. It could be that this is a very early stage of the specification. Those of you who are keen-eyed will notice the new Summary tab at the top of the page next to Contents. And you'll see that it says 14 next to it, so I've got 14 items in there already. To actually go into the Summary schedule, we just click this tab and it opens that up. Top of the page, we've got a search by title or prefix filter box. So if I wanted to see hatch systems, for example, I can type hatch and it filters that down. Just backspace it to remove it to bring the whole list back. You can see we've got several columns in here. First of all, we've got a title column. In this case, it's showing the titles of the Uniclass systems that I've got in my spec. We have a prefix column, and if I did have any prefixes against these systems, that would show up here. We've got a suffix column, and in this case I've used a suffix column to put some T-sheet codes in, so these are codes that you use to group systems together. We've got the Uniclass code next. We've got a description column, so if I had written in the Dorset system here and put some information into the first row, which is the description row of that system outline, that content would be brought through into this description column. We also have an image column. The image column will bring through an image when you have added a manufacturer's pre-written clause from NBS source into your specification. It will bring that image through. We've got an associated column, and the associated column tells you when there are manufacturers' products available that you can associate to that system. So in the case of this Dorset system, there's over 99 manufacturers' products that can be associated with it. Next, you can see that we've got a yellow circle with a 1 in it. Some of you might know what that is already. That is if there is any organisation notes against the system. And the final circle is for if you have any spec notes against the actual system as well. And in fact, if you hover on these, they tell you exactly what they mean. So the 99 plus, that's actually 107 products. We click on the yellow, or hover on the yellow I should say, it says there's 1 org note associated. And then finally, if I hover on the last one, it tells me there's 1 spec note associated into it. Now, that Uniclass code might look a little bit cramped there. Well, You can move and widen these columns. So if I click to the in between the code and the description column, there's a little dotted line that appears, and I can just expand that column out. I can come to the title and I can just reduce that column if I want to. Some of you might have noticed that code has a number 1 next to it and the suffix has a number 2. Well, you can reorder the content that's here, so I could just click onto title, and now it's all ordered by title, and if I, depending on how I click it, depends on whether it orders it ascending or descending. If I click on it a third time, it takes the ordering out. If I want to order by 2 items, I can click Shift on my keyboard. If I click code and then I click suffix, you can see suffix now has got a number 2 next to it. So first of all, it is ordering by code, and then it's subordering by suffix. And if I click on title, you'll see I get number 3. So after suffix, it will then order it by title. And I can even go all the way, include prefix and description. Now, it will remember this. So if I go and click onto contents and then click back into the summary, it's remembered the widths and it's remembered the ordering. And in fact, if I go and click using the breadcrumbs into my summary schedules project itself, and then click back into Springhouse, and back into the summary, you can see that it's remembered that ordering. At the top, you'll see when we started to do the reordering, we got this little arrow here, this back and forth arrow button. If we click on that, it will undo what we've done. If you want to change the positioning of the columns, you can do that as well. So let's say I want my suffix first. I can click onto it and hold my mouse down, and I can just drag that across the page. And maybe I want the code, the uniclass code next. And maybe I want the prefix after the description. And again, it remembers that positioning so that when I go back into the summary schedule, the order is exactly the same. Again, if I want to undo that, I can just press the back and forth arrow button next to the filter box, and it returns it to the default format, default layout. Now, summary schedules. You can use this to help you summarize your specification intentions for your client. So when you're having client conversations, you can use this to put information in there about how the door set system is going to be set up. Does it need to be fire rated, for example? You can use it for developing your specification through the project timeline. So you might not want to develop the whole spec before sharing with the wider project, for example. You can use it to ensure your specification intentions are within budget. You can cross-check as you go through different stages of the project to ensure that they're still within budget. You can use it for when you're planning contractor design packages, looking at different areas and planning what you'll have full design responsibility for, and which areas you're planning to write performance specification requirements for the contractor design packages. You can use it to coordinate specification intentions with your design team, as well as defining cross-referencing coding approaches between drawings and the schedule. You can start using this from stage 2 and 3 of your project. Use this to start setting up your specification with some of the information, with the systems, potentially product clauses already set up in here. Now, I've just shown you this with Uniclass 2015. It does work with common arrangements of work sections, and actually you can use it with prelims. And in fact, just to give you an example, I'm going to go back to my summary schedules project using the breadcrumbs here at the top. And I'm going to go into my autumn house specification. And you'll notice as soon as that opens into the content page that this is a common arrangements of work sections specification. And you'll see summary, I've actually got 2 items in it as well. So if I click into the summary schedule, you can now see the summary schedule has got course codes in. And a keen-eyed of you again might notice actually it's not just the work section that's there, it's the clause. So with common arrangements of work sections, we can bring the clauses into the summary. And just to show you, I've got winter house here. Again at the top, this is a prelim. At the top we've got summary. So you can even use summary schedules with the prelims as well. So it's giving you flexibility in how you can work. Going back to my summary schedules, just to show you another specification here I've got, which is summer house. And I'll click into the summary schedule for that, and you'll notice this time I've actually got prefixes and suffixes and codes in there, but I've also got the descriptions showing up. I've got some images from products that have been added from NBS source. So it just gives you an indication of how it starts to look as you start to populate this summary schedule. Okay, how do we start to put a summary schedule together? We've seen here what it looks like, but how do we actually start to build that summary schedule? Well, let's have a look at it. I'm going to jump into a different project now, so I'm just going to click on my projects tab at the top left hand corner, and I've got a sports centre that I'm looking at as part of a project. So we're going to click into this sports centre, and you can see I've got 2 specifications here just to show you how it works with Uniclass and how it works with common arrangements of work sections. So we'll start with Uniclass. You can see I've got no content in this spec at this moment in time, and I might be at a very early stage, so it's a case of that I'm just going to pick a few items to bring into this spec. So we'll just go add content. And well, the sports centre, first of all, it's a brand new sports centre that we're building. It's going to need some doors, so let's have a search for doors. And let's just make this a little bit bigger so you can read it more easily. You can see here that I have got door set systems, so I'm going to need at least 1 door set system in there. I'm going to bring that in. And actually I might have a revolving door at the front of the sports centre to stop the draft in winter coming into the building so much. I'm going to need some windows, so we're going to need windows because people are going to want to get let light in. So I'll search for windows and I'll add a couple. I'll add an external window system. I might want some stairs. We might have a mezzanine level in the actual building. Bring some internal stairs in. And let's just say at this point we might be bringing a few more things in, but let's just say we're happy at this point. And we actually want to start to be able to use the summary schedule to start adding some detail into the description and looking at different items around it for a sit-down meeting that we're going to have with our client. So at this point, I just click onto the door set systems. And for me to be able to add this to the summary schedule, all I need to do is click into the door set system so it puts that bounding box around it. And I've got a little pencil here. If I click on that pencil, it brings me into the edit details, and at the bottom here there's a summary schedule tag. If I just click that tick box and save it, that will then add it to the summary schedule list, and that's all I need to do for each system that I've got in here. Just select the tag to add it. Now I've done that and tagged everything there, I can go back up into my breadcrumbs and I can just click onto the uni class to take me back into the contents of my spec. And you can now see the summary's got 4 items in there. So if I click into the summary schedule, you can now see that I've got 4 items into that summary schedule. And it's giving me that additional information here on the right hand side about products that can be associated. And in this case, there's an organization note in there. On the far right hand side, I've got some little edit pencils. And if I click on the first one for the Dorset system, this now enables me to go in and edit it. So I don't have to jump all the way into the system. I can edit the prefix, the suffix, and the description from here. And it might be that at this point, we're just putting in which systems the contractor is going to be responsible for. So I might just type into the description here, contractors design. I've got the ability to adjust formatting, so I can make it bold, italic, underline, strike through, subscript and superscript, even bullet points. And then T and X, and I can remove that. I can also put in a clause link, a link in there if I want to an external website, for example. So let's just say actually all of these are going to be contractors design, so I can just quickly type in contractors design and edit them quite quickly. I could even cheat, just copy it. For the last one, I can just click in into the description and I can paste that in. Now, if I click on the text to the left here of the title, so Dorset system, it will take me directly to the Dorset system in the spec. And now you can see actually that the description row is being filled in. So it's got the information in that description. And maybe I changed my mind on it and actually this one's not going to be contractors design. We're going to be doing it. We're going to do the design for it, but we need to speak with client. So I can put a note in to say we need to speak with client, and I can start to bring items in here. So if I wanted to, I could come in and just start to bring in clauses that might be relevant. So the Dorset type. Well, actually, I know that we're going to want a composite Dorset in there, so I can add a composite Dorset clause. And I can save that. And in fact, I can now come down to the composite Dorset here, click in, and click on the pencil, and now I can add that to the summary schedule. So I've now added the composite Dorset to the summary schedule. If I was doing a performance specification, I could come in and just add maybe design submittals, save to bring that in, and click into the design submittals, and then I could add that to the summary schedule. So as you add clauses into this system outline, if you want them as part of the summary schedule, you can do that. Let's go back and have a look at the summary schedule now. So I'm clicking onto the Uniclass tab, I'll go back into the summary schedule, and you can now see the Dorset system here, the note saying we need to speak with client. You can see that design submittals has been brought in and composite Dorsets. Now, we go back to that design submittals. You'll see there is no description row there. If I click back and go back to my summary schedule, I can still go into design submittals. and edit it, and I can add a description. So, need to check if required. Let's put a description in there, and if I go back to design submittals, scroll down to it, it's added a description row to it. So you can start to see it speeds up this process at a very early stage of when you're having conversations with colleagues, with the client, with the initial stages of the design of the project. And you can quickly get information into the specification, bring information in about decisions that have been made. We can even go across to the associated circles here and maybe have a look at the revolving door set system. Maybe we decided that actually this isn't going to be contractor's design. And we'll just click in, first of all, change it from contractor's design. Let's just say it's going to be full design. We've decided a product that's going to be used for this, so I can click onto this associated products item. It will open up the revolving door set, and it will open up the products panel. And actually, we're going to use this circular full vision revolving door. I can just click onto the system, click plus next to the circle full vision revolving door. It adds it in there. I can save that, and then just quickly go back to my summary, and now you can see it's brought in the picture of that door, so we've got an idea of the door that we're actually going to use alongside it. And if I click onto the door, it allows me to see a larger picture of it. So if there was several pictures from this manufacturer, I could scroll through the pictures of it. Where we've got an organisation note, in the case I have with this door set system, I can click onto that organisation note and it will take me through and I can see the organisation note. I click back again on the browser, it takes me back into the summary schedule. So let's have a quick look at how it works with common arrangements of work sections. I'm going to go back to my Bikers Sports Centre. I'm going to click into my cause spec and I'm just going to add some content. Again, I'm going to have a search for doors and I'll bring in doors, shutters and hatches L20. I'm going to click into the doors, shutters and hatches and I'll show you how you add this to the schedule. Now, you can't add the full work section, but what you can do is you can add the individual clauses. So if I come down here, work my way down, I've got, for example, we know we're going to use wood flush doors in this, so I can click on the pencil and add it to the summary schedule. And come a little bit further down, I can also see that we've got, come down a bit further, I've got frameless glass doors. Well, actually, you might be wanting to use those in the project. So I can go in and select those to add them to the summary schedule. If I go back to the contents page of my course spec, you can now see I've got two items in the summary schedule. And if I click in there, you can see I've got wood flush doors and frameless glass doors. And it works in exactly the same way. I can click onto the pencil on the right hand side. I can put prefix, suffix in. I can put the description in there. Also, with the course summary schedule, I can actually park clauses within the actual schedule. And if I go back into my specification here now, we scroll down, you can see frameless glass doors as has been parked. If I unpark it, and go back to the cause summary, it's unparked again. So that's how you can start to set up your summary schedules, how you can then start to use that at an early stage of a project to start bringing in decisions, discussions with the client, discussions with the rest of the design team. Let's have a look at some of the ways you can now use other functionality within Chorus alongside schedules. So I'm going to click into projects here. Now, with Chorus Pro, which is what you need for summary schedules, you also get masters. And you could actually set up a master for a project at a summary schedule level. So we could go into masters here, for example, and you can see I've got several masters in here, company specific, residential, down to discipline, commercial masters, and so on. But I've also got one for summary schedules. And you can see within my summary schedules, I've got an educational master. And I might set this up with, for education projects, some of the basic systems that would be needed at the very start of a project. And I could also set it up using the summary schedule within the master, bringing in and associating the T-sheet codes I might use, or the other types of codes I might use alongside cores or uniclass. The advantage being is that once this is set up within your masters, I can then just copy it. So I can click on the three dots here on the action menu and just go copy to. Copy it into my active project. I can go and select my project here. So I've got my Biker Academy here project. I can select that. I can retitle it. So I can title this upper building. Maybe they've got an upper building and an upper school and a lower school. Copy it across. Takes me straight into my Biker Academy project. I can click in and I've already got the start of my summary schedule there. And I can start working on it straight away. If it turns out that I need more than one door set system, you'll notice here that I've got my codes and the suffixes. So in that case, if I need maybe another 2 door set systems, I can select the checkbox on the right hand side here. I can go Control C on the PC or Command C on the Mac, and then I can go Control V on the PC or Control V on the Command V on the Mac, and I can paste it. And you'll notice the suffix is changed with it automatically. So if I put another one in, again the suffix has changed in the ordering of my coding. So that's a quick way of getting started, setting up the specification to start using the summary schedule. Have it set up as a master. Another useful feature is, let's say we've got to RIBA stage 4 in the project, and we're now about to start looking at actually writing the detail into the specification. Well, I don't want to necessarily lose the information I might already have put into the descriptions here. So what I can do, if I go back up to my Biker Academy level, is I can go in with the action buttons on the right hand side, and I can copy the specification. And I can click into projects. I could choose to put it into a separate project that's sealed off from everywhere else, or I could leave it where it is in my Biker Academy, and I could just change the naming. Call it summary schedule, copy it, So now I've got a summary schedule version of the spec, and I can then continue using the live version of the spec to further develop the specification. So if I need to then go and change descriptions, I can do, because I've got the summary schedule version of it already saved. And in fact, I can use that same technique at other stages within the project. When I come to issue a spec, I could take another copy of that spec and freeze time effectively in it, so that if I then need to come back and make any revisions, I make the revisions in the live version of the spec, not the version that I've just frozen. It's a good way of building a history of your specifications and giving you the ability to roll back with them. Once you've started writing the spec, you can continue using the summary to see useful information that's being added into the spec, description information, to quickly update things without actually having to go in. Now, one other thing with summary specs is you can actually output the summary schedule as an Excel spreadsheet. Let's have a look at how you can do that. I'm going to go back into my summary schedules project, and I'm going to go into my summer house spec. I'm going to click into the summary schedule. Again, you can see my summary schedule here. I can just go and click on actions, and it gives me an option to export the summary schedule. I click on that. In Chrome, you'll find that it has it at the bottom left hand corner. In Microsoft Edge, it will usually set in the top right hand corner underneath downloads. But when I open this, just expand it out, you can see it gives you the summary schedule there with the prefix, the suffix, the code, the descriptions. It gives you the associations, so it tells you whether there's products available for it within NBS source. It tells you whether the item is parked or not. So if it's active, then it's not parked. And I can click on these links on the left hand side, and it will take me directly into that section of the specification. Okay, so that is summary schedules. I hope you have found this session useful, and I hope that you found the feature useful going forward. Just a very quick reminder to everyone that summary schedules is a Chorus Pro feature. Before I let you go, just to let you know of a forthcoming event on the 26th of April. Dr. Stephen Hamill and Lee Jones will be taking a deep dive into the golden thread of information. Well worth registering for and well worth catching up with. Thank you all very much for your time today, and please take care.